Okay, so metal.
Metal.
The show's about metal.
What is metal? We're going to spread the hidden value in music.
We're going to proselytize. We're going to get the word out there.
We are.
That's important.
Just something very metal about smashing things.
Yeah. How many boxes, Pete, do you think get smashed in Norway every day?
Oh,
60,
it's got to be
69.
endless. 69,
Probably
100 million.
Well, welcome everybody to the Great Metal Podcast, live streaming, live at 5 Eastern. You're here with Shredmaster Scott, Just Pete, and the Metal Evangelist. So in a couple of weeks here, 5-6 weeks maybe, Just Pete and I are going to Norway, and we're going to hike up that rock that's on the new Dream Theater album cover. That's actually a rock in Norway, but wedged between two mountains. Wow. And we're actually going to see Dream Theater in concert while we're there, which is going to be cool.
How tall is that? What's the elevation on that rock? Is it like
3,000 feet?
Oh, okay.
So on the very top or just next to it? Is it 3,010 feet if you go up on the rock?
Well, the rock is actually below. It's like the two mountains. And the
you're
rock
right.
is like wedged between below them.
Yeah.
So you climb down onto the rock.
69 feet. I would prefer that number.
It might be 3,000 is probably rounding off there. So it might be
jump off it, parachute.
We did look up. People do base jump from it, and we looked up if anybody's ever fallen off of it. Apparently, nobody's fallen.
John Petrucci, like John. Listen, does he know where that picture is taken? He might not even know.
Oh, I
guess I'll text him after the show and ask him. But yeah, I don't know. Surely it's like, oh yeah, this is like a thing in Norway. But anyway, so we were researching topics for the podcast, and we said, well, hey, we're going to Norway. Norway's known for black metal. What other kind of metal is going on in Norway? And
Plus,
so today we're going to talk about Norwegian metal.
Maniac, Luke. You are a Norwegian metal maniac.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Maniac.
Yeah, I mean, people just say words in Norwegian. I don't even know what they mean, but I start getting excited and I start whipping my hair around, and it gets crazy.
It sounds so metal.
Yeah.
Fuck Beatlemania. It's Norwegian Metal Mania.
Yeah. Norwegian Metal Mania.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, so I mean, and that's really the thing. Like Norway, like they literally got put on the map, the metal map, because of the black metal. They invented black metal, right?
Yeah.
Coming out of the 80s extreme metal, the early 80s with
Celtic Frost.
Yep. And then there were these bands like Bathory, and they took the extreme metal into what we know of today as black metal. Right. And so they invented a genre. Not every country can say that they've invented a genre of metal.
It's
Norway
can. Evil genre for sure.
It really is.
I mean, look at these guys. It's just
look at those dudes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Immortal. And I think it's the guy on the far left, or maybe it's the guy in the back. His name's Abath.
And Abath. He's hilarious.
Yeah. And he's like a solo act now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's still going, but he's not with Immortal anymore. So anyway, let's dive into a little black metal, because the thing is, like, so for whatever reason, the Norwegians really picked up on metal. They enjoy metal. A lot of the Scandinavian countries do. And the Norwegians, they get really into metal as it's spreading. They invent their own genre, but then, like any good metalheads, they took it in all kinds of directions. So you have all these like black metal crossovers now, symphonic black metal, and what's called.
That's what I like. That's my favorite right there for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. There's also one called black and roll. So it's like black metal and rock and roll. We have an example of it today. It's a little awkward, but it works.
That's like what you could play in the bar, like as a bar cover band. Get your black metal and roll.
Yeah.
Dude.
And then, of course, the up north bands are just fantastic in the whole doom and goth category, which is where I started with Norwegian Metal, was with doom goth bands. So we'll get to that. But black metal is really the foundation of Norwegian metal. So let's check out some of the original stuff here. Of course, probably the most well-known black metal band is Mayhem, followed closely by Burzum because of the whole early 1990s Varg saga, killing Euronymous.
Varg saga, yeah.
Yeah. We had, by the way,
nuts.
Oh yeah, and we have an entire episode. We actually have an episode on like the most extreme moments in metal history.
Yeah, I think it's 7 most extreme moments. I was just looking that up. Yeah.
Yeah, we talk a bunch about that whole situation. And then we also have an entire episode on black metal from, a variety of countries, not just Norway. So anybody that's interested can go back into our catalog there and check those out.
And feel free to comment on your favorite Norwegian metal genre as we go along here. If you're watching it live, let us know.
Yeah. Or
we're going to hit
your favorite band.
Yeah, that's good too.
Right. Because we're going to hit on some of the big ones. We're going to hit on some lesser known bands today too. But I'm sure there's a ton out there that we've never heard of and we want to hear them. So, okay. So everybody's going to know this one. This is kind of like I don't know, what would you call it, Shred? Like the magma opus?
Is this Freezing Moon? What is it?
Freezing Moon. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's just like the song I always get asked about. Can you play Freezing Moon?
Well, let's check it out, and then we'll figure out if Shred can shred it.
It's hard to see those guys. It's so black.
Oh
yeah.
Well,
here's a comment on that one from I don't know how to say your name, Domantas. Personally, doesn't like songs with only blast beats. He finds slower tempo songs more interesting, and I think we have some doom coming up.
There you go.
And so stay tuned for the doom.
You and Luke are on the same page here. Domantas.
Yeah.
Sounds like a black metal name. Domantas.
It's a good name.
It's really interesting. Before we dive into, why this stuff became so popular, and by so popular, I mean not really popular, but very iconic. Let's check out,
Luke, to give the guys an idea. The streams for the biggest black metal is like what, 500,000 versus Metallica is 20 million a month, something like that.
Well, Metallica on Last FM. So we're not even talking spot. I'm sure it's way bigger on Spotify, but Metallica's monthly listeners on Last FM it was like just over 3.3 million, and Mayhem is about 300,000. So
much bigger,
much bigger, roughly 10% of what Metallica's doing, right?
100. Wouldn't it be?
And when you look at a lot of other black metal bands, it's even a fraction of that. It's maybe like 10,000 or 12,000. But so the other big one is Varg's band, which Varg Vikernes, I mean, is he is the whole band. But let's check out Burzum, because this is the same time period as Freezing Moon and Mayhem. Slightly different sound, same thing though. But let's check out Burzum.
I like the cover.
Do they even have a bass player? I couldn't hear him.
It's just Varg. I don't know if he's using that. See, that's the thing with black metal is it's so lo-fi.
Production value. The production value is probably a barrier of entry for many people when it comes to black metal. But
yeah.
Like
now
garage band quality.
Now you do have to wonder, like, I mean, if you're listening to any kind of music, right, and then you hear that, like, what about that specifically appeals to you? It's really, I mean, it's hard to listen to, but culturally, Varg was burning down churches. Dead kills himself, and then Euronymous uses Dead as the album cover. I mean, like, there was like wild stuff going on there that was much bigger than the sound of the music that people could relate to.
That's such an important point that you just made there. It was like the cultural ethos around the genre, that people were really getting into it. There's like, I reference this composer Arnold Schoenberg from the 20th century a lot. And it's the same thing with him. Like, I don't listen to his music much. It's pretty gnarly. It's very atonal. But the idea of what he was doing, flipping reality upside down, disobeying all the rules, that is so cool to me, So
yeah.
Kind of
other comment here from Domantas. I know I just am not getting his name right, but he heard Varg used to poke holes in his amp to get the lo-fi quality. So, I mean, experimenting with things is good. Sometimes it doesn't always work out, but I think the lo-fi quality was probably a way to find a unique sound, and that felt like it represented what they were talking about.
And that's a good thing, like, for people to keep in mind. You don't have to spend $69 million on recording your EP. Like, you just use some simple tools, and it's the ideas themselves. That's the strength of the music. Of course, good production quality helps, but it's so pure. Black metal is so pure. It's just these guys just doing their own thing and exploring sound and ideas,
Yeah.
So it's powerful on that level.
And this is, guys like Varg, Burzum and Mayhem, and that, like, they really developed this style. The style really grew. And that's what we're going to really look at a lot today is all of a sudden you had these guys that were really big into and influenced by Mayhem, but they were like, maybe I'd like a little bit of, harmony with my dissonance, and so they started like branching out a little bit. Now some bands still like to keep it, pretty straight to the black metal genre. And I don't know how popular they are these days, but some of them are they're well known, but it's the bands like Cradle of Filth that have like added in all these new instruments, and they have these big compositional structures instead of just going back and forth on the tritone.
Just
and the
blast
blast beats.
tritone all day.
Right. Yeah. The blast beats of the tritone.
Yeah. It's more palatable. Being able to craft an idea maybe the original form of it isn't that commercially viable. But then, like you said, these other bands came in, added different elements. Now all of a sudden we have something that could sell and that people like more. So
right.
Yeah.
And so the perfect example of this, and black metal really it's a long form genre. I mean, the songs are typically very long, and they kind of move from one phase into the next phase into the next phase. And so it actually fits really well with like a progressive style or a symphonic style. And so you do have some bands that went more towards what is called symphonic black metal. And of course, the most well-known one is Dimmu Borgir.
Yes.
And they're very large. They're probably the largest Norwegian band out there. So on Last FM, they've got like 550,000 monthly listeners, which was the biggest one of any Norwegian band I saw. So let's check out Council of Wolves and Snakes by Dimmu Borgir.
As pawns in this secret game, no one knows nothing. Yet, in the realm of sacred play, everyone knows everything.
Dude, that's what they play in the ninth plane of hell, right? I mean, that's just like the soundtrack. I love how theatrical it is. These guys sold out for sure.
According
right?
to guys like
and
Varg, for sure.
I'm so glad they did, because that's a great product right there.
Yeah, you can listen to it.
You can actually listen to it.
Fancy that.
So
it'd be fun to see who listens to a full like Burzum album, like straight through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Who is
just
listening
hard.
to it?
Not
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, so Domantas, let us know what you think about Dimmu Borgir, because they have the blast beats, but then, like you said, they slow them down. I mean, they're using all kinds of different musical devices, not just all the way straight through start to finish blast beats, tritone.
Dude, these guys, this is really sophisticated stuff that they're putting together, like the musical structure of it, the orchestration. And I mean, there's like guys in the studio here that know how to write for orchestra and stuff. I mean, this isn't, Varg in his garage, in Norway or
right.
Wherever he records. This is like really produced. It's on a high level. And I don't think that's selling out, and if it is, I'm all in.
You're buying.
It's selling out. It's selling out albums as opposed to
totally selling. Yeah.
Well,
it's okay to make something that people want to listen to, I guess, is the point that I'm trying to make. That's all I'm trying to say here.
Totally. So there's another band in this same genre called Enslavement of Beauty. And we've got a clip of them. Similar thing. They're more on the symphonic black metal side. And they have the introduction of a female singer, which I think is really cool in black metal. So let's check out Enslavement of Beauty. I don't remember what this track is called, but we'll check it out.
It's like black metal for smokers. Everybody's just puffing on a cigarette there.
Yeah, that was
interesting. Yeah,
they
it's
took
like
kind of the.
almost, go ahead, Pete.
Oh, I was gonna say the visually that was interesting too, because they sort of took the black and white like face paint style, and used black and white, but not in face paint, more in like a classical sense, with like suits and smoking and like the kind of the look of a different look for black metal.
That's definitely stretching the limits of the definition in a lot of ways, right? It's not the traditional sound there, but there's some relevance to
Well,
like
it's really
in some sense.
It's the vocal style that really connects that musically. That was not black metal, right?
Yeah,
but the vocal style is really what connects that to black metal.
And the visual aesthetic,
Sure. Yeah. Yep. So some bands are farther away. Like, so Enslavement of Beauty is like really holding on to like one element of black metal, but they really kind of branched out in almost every other way. Right. Dimmu Borgir has a lot more black metal elements, but they added in, some symphonic sounds, right?
And again, I think that's the strength of metal, is to be able to kind of see these new styles within the umbrella of the genre. And a lot of people, are purists, and they think this is, again, selling out or betraying the whatever. Like, listen, man, it's like, do you want to actually have a career, or are you just concerned about, whatever, if people are selling out? You got to make that choice. But I think you want to encourage bands to explore, try these new things. You never know what you're going to come up with.
Yeah, no, that's right. And so I mean, that's really like the symphonic element coming in, but another huge element that's big in like Norwegian culture in general is the whole Viking culture, the Norse mythology, that kind of thing. And so what a section of a group of bands from the black metal genre did is they gravitated more towards what today is considered Viking metal or folk metal. So probably the biggest one Amon Amarth, but I think they're from Sweden. So the biggest one in Norway, I believe, is the band Enslaved. So they have, let's see, they have 232,000 active listeners on Last FM. So about half the size of Dimmu Borgir, a little less than half. But anyway, they went more in the Viking route. But let's check out a clip of them and see if we can recognize some black metal.
Yeah, the bit right after the sort of drum breakdown where it had like a bit of a dissonant melody. Yeah, it was kind of like a tritone almost, but in a melody. That was really cool, and kind of I could see the link back to black metal a little in the dissonance, but.
We heard that sort of tremolo picking line in the Dimmu Borgir earlier. It's that sort of thing is something you hear in the style a lot. Yeah, that'd be an interesting thing to really analyze. Like, if you want to make a black metal band, how does it sound, right? What are the essential elements? That tremolo picking thing is really important, in the minor chords, that you move around, just sort of random places,
Yeah.
Not really paying any attention to keys or, music theory. You just kind of like whatever sounds the most evil, and dissonant. And actually, there's a whole theory to that. Let's be honest. So,
Oh yeah, I'm sure there is.
evil theory, 666 theory. I should write a whole book on that.
You should. 666 theory.
The theory of the
Sounding evil.
Yeah. So another band in this space that's probably not as well known is this band called Asmigen. And this is let's see, this is in Norwegian, so I'm going to destroy
Where do
it.
you
It's
find
called.
these pants, Luke?
Oh
Get out
man.
of
Well,
your ass, bro.
hours of
Dude.
research.
we need to do an episode on like I don't even know what you'd call it, but like
How
I
to
have
find
all-
new music.
Well, no, I have it's almost like an unboxing. I have boxes and boxes and boxes of CDs that I've been buying since I've been like a teenager, and I went through one the
Since
other day and I was like,
1911, you've been
oh
buying
yeah, I
CDs,
found
yeah.
stuff. I was like, holy crap, what is all of this stuff? Like, it's crazy. So, but anyway, Asmigen, this is called Til Ronderfolkets Heskab. And this is another one in the Viking metal, black metal space. So let's check them out.
Whoa. Wow. That's got that kind of like folk influence,
Yes.
You can like hear the Norse mythology in there.
Yes, right. There's almost like some chanting or almost going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
That's
Battle
got some cool
cries.
elements. The production quality still is pretty poor there, but that's got some real potential,
Question is, was the video or audio production quality worse in that video? They were both suffering.
They're
from,
going lo-fi in everything they do.
Yeah.
Except the actual quality of the music itself.
Yeah.
Like there's some really, really cool like harmonies and melody lines that they wrote. I actually really like Viking metal and folk metal. There's like some
Luke,
really, really
do you
good stuff.
sometimes just late at night get naked, put on your Viking horns, and dance around and listen to that stuff? How do you consume it?
In the woods.
Maybe we should live stream that sometime. Yeah, in the woods.
That would
Connecting
be
with your past.
yeah. Well, and that is a big part of Viking metal is this pantheism, not necessarily like nature worship, but it's very much about, man versus nature type of a thing. The first band I ever bought Viking metal was this band called Midnight Soul, which I believe means midnight sun in Norwegian. And I actually have it. Where did I put it? Right here.
Midnight
So
Sun.
this is this album actually came out in like 2018. The first Midnight Soul album I got was in probably 2004 or something. But anyway, this is one of the biggest Viking metal bands, and there's almost no connection to black metal here. But let's check this out. Oh yeah, good stuff.
Epic.
Interesting.
That's very epic sounding at these soaring melodies.
Right. And so interesting tidbit here. Anybody that knows who Liv Christine is, she was the lead singer of like Theater of Tragedy, and she left there and started Leaves' Eyes. That's her sister. Her name's Carmen. The lead singer's name is Carmen, and it's Liv Christine's sister, which is really cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
So small community.
Sometimes we have the sisters involved, like because there's Flora and Irene Jansen, right? Although Flora is obviously way bigger. I never hear about Irene.
I don't know. Irene, I don't think sings. Like she's not a front woman. She usually does like backing stuff, or she like guest appearances on.
She
stuff.
was singing on that Star One Live.
Yeah,
I forgot what that was called, but and then speaking of art, he just came out with a record recently, right? I think he did. He's not quite Norwegian, but he's Danish.
Star. It's the new Star One album, but did it drop? Is it out?
I don't know.
Don't know. Let me check. Star.
It's got to be. If it's not out, it's coming out real soon.
He's been promoting it hard, but I'm not sure if it quite.
I think it comes out
yet.
in March.
No.
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Yeah, but and
Live on Earth was the live one.
Yeah,
Okay.
live on Earth. Yeah. So anyway, Viking metal kind of grew out of the black metal scene, but it's not. It's gotten farther and farther away from black metal. It's not black metal anymore.
Yeah. Right.
Now the other genre that was distantly related to black metal in maybe theme a little bit, but not so much in sound at all, was the whole Gothic and the whole Doom movement, which those really blossomed in Finland and Norway and Sweden.
So you say goth and doom came out of black metal?
No, I'm saying they were going on at the same time. Because I think people that are attracted to, at least for me, people that are attracted to like the darkness of black metal are also attracted to the darkness of Gothic metal and Doom metal.
I think, and that's just like metal in general, right? Except for maybe like 80s metal. Like people are into the darkness. They're on the dark side.
It's
you
true.
Listen to metal, you're on the dark side. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, 80s metal was like partying and having a good time.
That was the
like sex, drugs, rock and roll.
But now things are getting pretty dark now. If you look at like Vince Neil falling off stage trying to sing, he's quite
different type of dark.
Yeah, it's different kind of darkness. But.
a decrepit darkness. So Star One Revel in Time released 2 days ago.
Oh, it is out.
Yeah.
So we got to pick it up.
Because he went on the Charismatic Voice and I was chatting it up about that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Aaron doesn't do a ton of social media, but
he's been doing more.
Yeah, especially when he's got a project coming out, then you'll start seeing him post, and it's good to see.
Yeah,
they were doing a lot around this one with all the Guess the Musician things he was doing on Facebook. There were like polls and stuff, and it'd be like, "Here's a little clip. Who is this?"
Yeah.
He's got all the best singers. I mean, that guy knows everyone. Like I think he knows like Bruce Dickinson, right, from Iron Maiden, and it's like he's such an underground phenomenon that just knows all the big acts.
And he says, respect him. Right. He says he gets in touch with them just by like shooting them an email. Like, I mean, it's like he doesn't know them personally. He doesn't run in the same circles, but he was like, I idolize guys, like Steve Vai. And so he's like, I got to reach out to Steve Vai. Sure enough, Steve Vai's like, yeah, I'll do a solo on one of your albums. I mean, it's just wild. He just goes for it. And
he's like one of the biggest collaborators ever. And he's like a recluse, a social recluse, right? He's like a hermit. But he's got a lot of internet friends. He got those internet friends.
Right. Right. And he's doing really cool stuff. So people are like, I'd like to be a part of that.
Yeah, he's got a lot of street cred. I mean, when people start asking around or listening to any of his stuff, even if they don't know him, when they get an email, they're like, "Oh, this guy's a legit musician," And I think for a lot of guys, it's because what Iron's doing so different from their bands. It's a fun way to explore outside of their traditional space. So,
yeah.
But boy, we got right off track here.
Well, that's what happens when you start talking about metal. It's a big metal world out there, and we want to taste all of it. But so going back to Norway.
My tongue looks so small when I put it out.
It does look
tongues out. Put your guys' tongue out.
I actually get a hold of Gene Simmons. You get some lessons here.
We need some Gene Simmons up in this bitch. Get my tongue game.
Does the size of your tongue mean anything? Like the size of your hands and feet?
That's a good question.
I don't think so.
Maybe
I think it's.
If you can
I think
tie
it's
the cherry pit in your mouth. If you have the right size tongue.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
Obviously,
here's
there's
the thing
the Gene Simmons bonuses. He used it for his certain kind of things.
We we can use our imaginations what Gene used it for. Anyway, so going back to Norwegian metal. So my introduction really into Norwegian metal was when I was big into doom and goth. And so I ended up buying. So there was this band called Tristania, which everybody's probably familiar with. Started by this guy named Morten Veland. Sam would know exactly who Morten Veland is. So Morten Veland starts this band called Tristania, and it was a hope buy. I bought one of their albums probably like 1996 or 1997 maybe. And I was blown away. So it's a Beauty and the Beast, but also the clean vocals. The guy has an extremely, almost like a Peter Steele vibe to him. So anyway, here's a this is one of their later, and by later I'm not sure how much later, Morten Veland left the band to go start the band Sirenia in the early 2000s. So I'm not sure what year this was, but this is a song called Equilibrium by Tristania.
Oh yeah, he was down there in the basement like Peter a little bit, wasn't he? Low voice going on. Shakes the nether regions of young women everywhere.
Oh yeah. I should find out who that singer's name is. But so Tristania, it's this dark gothic band, nothing like black metal, right? It's much more melodic. It's a lot slower, and but I am just like eating this stuff up. I can't get enough of it. So I'm like, what is going on with this Tristania band? So it's this guy Morten Veland, who's amazing. He's the songwriter, guitarist, multi-instrumentalist. So there were some issues in the early 2000s with him and the rest of the band. So he leaves the band and he goes and starts the band Sirenia, which a lot of you also may be familiar with. They're one of the more popular Norwegian bands. And Sirenia blows my mind. Now they're in the same category as like Nightwish, right? They're like symphonic metal. But anyway, let's check out some Sirenia and we'll see what that's doing.
My heart is racing beyond the reason. All sanity becomes a fading season. I am craving for another feel of
Wow.
Oh my! So higher production value there.
Oh yeah.
Was that new?
Yeah, is that the same girl? The same singer?
No. Every single Sirenia album has had like a new singer. They have a hard time keeping singers. That was from like 2018 album, maybe.
Because I was gonna say the Tristania you played sounded very like Serenia, but the Serenia you played sounded nothing like Tristania. And what I mean by that is like I listened to Serenia back at sixes and sevens.
That was goth.
Yeah, and that was great, but it had the Tristania. That was probably when Morton Vellon was. Is he still doing Sirenia? Because that just did not sound like the same.
He might still be working with Sirenia, but then he branched off again and went and started a band called Mortamia, which is hilarious because it's like his name, but also like a cool version of it.
Yeah.
But he might still be. He's not working with Tristania anymore. But I just looked it up. It looks like he is still involved with Sirenia.
Okay. Well, they really branched. I guess their sound has grown. Yeah.
Genres. Yeah. Which it's a good thing to do to an extent, right? If you change too much, then people are like, wait a minute. If you go from black metal to Britney Spears, then you're going to lose some fans. But if you can kind of innovate, but still stay within the wheelhouse, because a lot of bands can't do that. They can't figure out. They just keep writing the same songs over and over again. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, we've already heard this.
Already heard it.
Well, does Sirenia still do the Beauty and Beast, or are they just clean vocals?
They do.
That was just Beauty.
That was just Beauty.
Yeah.
They've definitely gone more in like the poppy,
for sure.
Synth direction.
Yeah, that's pretty commercially viable there.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing with like Within Temptation. All of those bands, the big symphonic metal bands. So easy to listen to.
Everyone's
the literal other end of
What the hell?
they're on the other end of the spectrum from black metal, right? It's like it's almost like feel good stuff.
We've come a long way since Mayhem and Freezing Moon.
Yeah, yeah. Now, if we want to talk about like lo-fi, so there was this band that I used to listen to. It was a Hope by. And the band is called The Third and the Mortal. And I randomly bought an album of these guys. It's hold on, let me pull it up here. There it is. This is the goth level of stuff that was going on in the mid to late 90s that really attracted me to the whole scene. And then the scene started changing. Well, let's check out The Third and the Mortal. Just putting on these guys' albums and like laying on my bed and just being transported to another world. It's very like non-aggressive but very moody. Oh yeah.
There's like Middle Eastern influence there.
Yeah.
Which is that's kind of like a bit left field from what we've heard so far.
And slow.
Very slow.
The pace really went down.
I think that was 66.6 beats per minute, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Had to have been right in
those
there.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you get into doom and goth, it gets real slow. It can get real slow. You get to Funeral Doom.
What was that
like,
Virgin Black song? It was like 42 or something.
I don't know. You counted it out one time. Yeah.
That's the ultimate answer to the universe if you can hit that 42 tempo.
Yeah, there's a point at which you get so slow it you almost can't listen to it. There's like too much space between the notes.
Yeah, it's actually harder to play that slow than to play really fast.
Oh man, well, it's way hard. Like you get below 40 and you'll just never accurate, right?
Yeah.
You're just like,
You can't.
yeah, and it's like, oh, there it was.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Oh, there it was. Whoops. Yeah, you can't.
Like
Yeah,
there's
you can't
not
keep
enough
track of it.
beat to keep the beat.
Right. Right.
That's why I try not to go below 66.6 because what's the point? It's just too slow.
Right. What's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Now I want to touch on a few other things here. So interestingly enough, Norway actually, this is not surprising if you think about it, but they've actually got a pretty big progressive metal scene. Nobody really thinks of like Scandinavia when they think of progressive metal. I don't know why. Because there's like, I mean, black metal, like we said, has elements of progressive music in it. You know, it moves into these different movements and phases. Well, some amazing progressive metal bands have come out of Norway. Probably one of the biggest is Pagan's Mind, with the amazing Nils K. Rue on vocals. So I'm sure everybody knows Pagan's Mind, but let's check them out just because they're so. Oh, okay, maybe not.
Touch the light of morning, flying high above the seas. This mission never ends. I find the key that bends. I find the key that changes all. Joy will conceal you in sacred ways. End of the line, I'll be waiting in time by the stars to be reunited with you. Fire of life, intermission in time. In the end, to be reunited with you. Far away.
Whoa. Where did that last scream come from?
He was holding it in, and then he let it all out.
If anybody wants to see Nils K. Rue, if you want to see his actual vocal range, I'm going to say it's damn near similar to Mariah Carey. He's got a video. But he doesn't use falsetto.
Probably more than
It's like 3 octaves plus no falsetto. And he's got a video on YouTube where he sings some Christmas song. I can't remember what song it is. It's like he is so low and so high, no falsetto. I don't know how the guy does it. He's incredible.
Yeah, that band, Pagan's Mind, they sound so good. Like their production value, their live shows, man, those guys, they really have a polished product.
Yeah.
Are they really a big deal though? Are they even still doing stuff? So many of these bands that are just like really have a quality thing happening just can't get their marketing together, so they just don't go anywhere. But
I mean, that's a good question. So, I mean, in terms of like listeners on Last FM, they're at 49K. So, relatively small.
What is that? Like Spotify is like the standard we normally use, right? What is
Last FM is an online radio station.
Okay.
So I mean, it's similar to Spotify.
Or like Pandora or something like that.
The problem with Spotify is they don't release all their numbers. It's like
so hard.
Big bands show the streaming numbers, and everybody else you don't get anything.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's harder to find info. So I always go to Last FM. All the numbers are going to be a lot smaller than they actually are. So more than 49,000 people are listening to Pagan's Mind. But if you're using all Last FM numbers, then at least you have like a relative scale.
They're pretty commercial for the genre. They do odd time signatures and fancy sounds and stuff, but but they keep it
Yeah.
pretty dialed in for the most part. You know, it's like that clip we just listened to. You know, you could even imagine that being on the radio.
Right.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
Totally.
the
No,
last
they-
FM.
and Nils K. Rue, he does. Yeah. Yeah.
Could imagine it being on the radio when people used to listen to the radio.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
Like, why are you trying to get on the radio? I mean, I'm even like at this point, I'm like, why are you trying to play live shows? Like, just make an Instagram story. You're going to get more people seeing it. You know.
Yeah. Well, more people will see it for sure.
Well, it depends on your following. Not necessarily. It depends on your following, but
Well, if you have a small following, they're not going to buy tickets to a show.
yeah, exactly. That's the other thing, you know.
Well, so
it's just more efficient to make social media content.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's interesting. So Devin Townsend has a show coming up. He's doing, I think it's 2 shows at the Royal Albert Hall in London. And so I'm thinking it's like a retinal circus type deal.
Ooh,
Only
That guy
he said,
put on a live show. His live sound is some of the best live sound I've ever heard.
yeah. And then he's tweeting the other day and he's like, hey, can't wait to see everybody there. By the way, I'm not recording this, like not videoing it. And I'm
Maybe
like,
that was a
Devin.
joke.
Well, so here's the thing.
sure
I'm
a
going
lot
to
of
be in
people will
Dublin
be.
when he's doing this in London. And I'm like, maybe I just got to jump over there and check the show out.
Record
But-
it for us, so we actually, you know,
Right.
check it out.
But it's like, why wouldn't you record it? And maybe it's a lot more expensive
Might
to
be
record
the
it, but then
joke.
you could sell it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, he's probably recording something, you know, on the tour. Maybe it's
He
just
just-
not that show, but it's a
Right. He just said
one-off.
it's like, it's a 2-off because after the show, then he's opening for Dream Theater. But before he opens for Dream Theater, he's doing 2 of his own shows. No opener. It's just him.
Yeah, I mean, you do want to. Here's the thing: like what I'm noticing from studying Metallica is the way that they spread their brand primarily is they just release live shows. So it's like here's live in Tel Aviv that they just did 1993. They just released that, and then it's live
93.
in Manchester. You know, that was released in 2019. So the more live shows, you know, you record, the more potential reach your brand. You can release those through different avenues and stuff. Yeah, I'm with you, Luke, on this. If I was Devin Townsend, I would like record every single live show and then just release that as content on different platforms, charge for it, whatever, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, I could understand if you were if you wanted to do something special and it's like you and 1,000 people, it's like a VIP like meet and greet or something, right? You know, it's like, okay, if 1,000 people want to come and meet me and they want to pay for it, great. So if you're like, I'm going to put on a single show, it's going to be private. It's a private show for the 10,000 people that come over.
Right.
It just seems like a weird thing to do, but I guess I don't
Damn
know,
it,
Devin. We
Listen.
want to see your stuff, Devin, so badly. Don't hide it from us.
Yeah, that's an old mindset, you know, old music industry mindset. Yeah, nobody's allowed to bring cell phones in. Nobody. You know,
Right.
What?
Right.
What?
Well,
All
speaking of new,
Yeah.
we can't talk about progressive metal and Norway and not bring up the band Leprous. They're probably the
course.
biggest band out there right now from Norway.
Man, I don't know if I've
So
heard
let's
of it.
check out Leprous and then let's get into some deep, shitty water.
Oh.
Is a prince my thoughts are invisible. My thoughts, my
Okay, Luke.
Yeah.
WTF? That was a left field.
Yeah.
That dude almost sounded like the Michael Jackson of metal or something.
We were like, we started kind of low with black metal, and we were reaching like positive Norwegian steps in music, and then it was like kind of sliding.
Hey, we
Well,
got up there. Yeah, that was
you know,
bizarre.
Yeah.
I take a lot of flack for not liking these guys. Leprous is not my cup of tea. Now,
you
look,
don't like them.
I do not like these guys. And now here's the thing. They're plenty talented. When we talk about quality versus taste, you know, I'm not saying these guys suck. I'm not saying they're low quality. I'm saying I do not like them. Like their sound is so thin to me, and it like that song, like that song goes on and on and on. It's just the same thing over and over, and all their songs are very repetitive. I'm not 100% sure why everybody considers them progressive. There's very little progressive stuff other than like the complexity. They do a lot of really complex stuff.
Would it be fair to say that when you listen to that band, it makes you want to like cut your finger off with a baby guillotine?
Whoa, baby guillotine. Where did you get such a device?
Now, that's not a
that
circumciser,
incredible?
is it?
Yeah, it could be. If your weenus is small enough, just stick it in there.
That's quite the device there.
Yeah,
I guess
don't know, man. That one, I wouldn't necessarily seek those guys out.
Do you have an action figure with like a head that pops off when you hit it with the guillotine?
No.
That'd be great. Like a magnet on head, and then it like hits it.
It'd be like the official merch for the show.
Yeah, for black metal at least.
Yeah, black metal episode.
Yeah. Well, we're past black metal, but I mean, so and
we ended up somewhere else at this point. I don't even know, where.
Hit us up with a little bit more from Norway, and then
we're actually gonna get really weird now. Okay, so here's the thing. So we've been talking about metal. So anyway, if anybody wants to crucify me for not liking Leprous, that's fine. They're popular, not my cup of tea. Anyway, Norway. I haven't been there. Pete and I are going to be there in a couple of weeks, but
I got to find these tickets you're talking about for $400. That's a heck of a deal.
Oh,
I haven't found any of those yet.
But you're trying to fly from Michigan.
I know.
Michigan is like just add like 3 or 4 zeros to everything.
Unreal.
Or I mean, if you can get it for 666 or under, I would still.
That's acceptable.
Totally, yeah. So anyway, Norway, I don't know what their culture is like, but you can't talk about Norway and metal without talking about Leo Moracchioli, right?
Yeah, dude, he's
Leo,
a big deal in Norway.
He is a big deal, and this guy is just so good. Now, so he's got one of these newer clips. So, for people that don't know, I don't know who doesn't know this, but Leo does a lot of covers of pop songs in a metal fashion.
Like WAP.
Like WAP. Here's him doing. I did this one
wet.
Specifically for you, Shred, because you said you like Katy Perry, and so here's his version of Poker Face.
Oh, that's not Katy Perry.
Texas, please. Rolling lead and make me raising, baby, stay with me. Love gave me tuition, pays a college, makes you star. And after he's been looked out, they don't want that sun is hard. I'll give him my show what I got. I'll give him my show what I got. Can't read mine, no we can read my poker face. She's gotta love somebody. Can't read mine, no we can read my poker face. She's gotta love somebody. Blah 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 poker face, blah blah poker face. Blah 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 poker face, blah blah poker face.
There we go at the end. Yeah, no, that's Lady Gaga, Luke.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I get all these people
Can't
confused.
keep his pop stars straight.
No, I can't. They're all just packages, so they're all interchangeable.
I'll text that to Lady Gaga later because I don't think she's heard it. Yeah, she should.
Yeah. Well, just a tremendous, like, it's fun. Leo's got just this great sense of humor. Like, that's not his like most expressive video, but he has so much fun and humor in his music. However, there is one band, Norwegian metal band, that tops him. They top him.
No.
So here's the band Trollfest and a song called Dance Like a Pink Flamingo.
Everybody to dancing floor. Get your freak on a dance like a pink flamingo. Like a pink flamingo. Everybody to dancing floor. Get your freak on a dance like there's no tomorrow. Like there's no tomorrow. My walls are like disgrace. Like all the savage world. You're like parasites we infest. Bring our resources dry. No hope, no chance will come. Process and conflict. We won't do anything. So why don't we all dance? The fertility dance. Let the biological chemicals run through your dance. Jump. Take the bravery jump. Feel your worries float away as you step out.
Okay. I don't even understand what just happened.
If you guys have,
My brain is just so scrambled right now. Luke, what happened? What has
go
happened to
check
you?
out Trollfest. They have
They're trolling
fantastic
us.
stuff. They're trolling
Are
you.
they just trolling us? Is that what's going on here?
They have all kinds of stuff like this out there. It's like comedy metal. It's a weird genre.
There's a lot going on there.
It's so
Wow,
good.
okay.
So there you go. That is Norway. That is the depth and breadth of Norwegian metal in a nutshell. Now I had
Hold
one more
on,
video. It's going to
I'm
be
still stuck on Trollfest. Would you like if that band asked me to join them? I'd be like, no, I can't.
No, just no.
I can't do that.
can't do it.
They might have like a big audience and everything, but
Like,
uh,
I've never
it's just
worn
like,
a pink flamingo costume. I don't think I'm equipped for this
I'm
band.
not going to start now.
So on
Yeah.
Last FM, they have 69K. 69K listeners.
69K.
Yeah. So I think they're a thing. They speak this language that I can't remember what they call it. Trollsprach or something like that. And it's like a made up mesh of Norwegian and German. It's like a fictional thing that they do. It's hilarious stuff.
Luke, I don't know how you come across this kind of stuff. You're in some dark places on the internet.
No, well, a lot of this stuff is from like, growing up, like my childhood. Like I listened to a lot of these bands. I didn't listen to Trollfest.
Yeah, not Troll.
Trollfest was not part of my childhood.
That's
although-
next level shit.
In some ways, I wish it was, but they're like legit. They like tour and all this kind of stuff. It's wild.
It's kind of like baby metal. Like, I mean, it's like a fun sort of crazy thing, but like I would never listen to a whole baby metal album like that. Just the vocal sound is so grating. I can't do it.
Oh,
Just
see,
like
I love
it's
baby
like one
metal.
big spoof. Do you?
Yeah, I wouldn't listen
Maybe I
to
haven't heard enough. of
Trollfest.
that. don't know,
I wouldn't
but-
listen to an entire album of Trollfest.
No.
That's you pull out for times like these.
Pull that pink flamingo out. Yeah. Like you can do a little bit of that for like a joke, but yeah, like I can't take it seriously.
It's almost like Steel Panther, only like not serious. Not as serious. Like it's so over the top. Like they're dressed up in pink flamingo outfits, and it's
The music has to be good enough for you to listen to stuff like it. Like Steel Panther actually has some pretty good songs, is the thing.
catchy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's catchy stuff. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so that kind of gives it. Now, just one more shout out. We're not going to watch a clip of this, but shout out to the band Ulver, probably the most diverse band, maybe in the history of the universe. I have a clip of it, but it's like 3 minutes long, and it goes through. It's like one song of each of their like 11 or 12 albums. They go from like black metal to acoustic to like mass hymns, like hymns for a mass at church, to like 80s synth pop dance. I mean, it's so incredible, incredibly diverse. I've never seen anything like it. So if anybody's interested, check out the band Ulver. You
got to start uploading to your playlist like every week, and just anyone who's like into getting real weird, they can head on over there and go deep with Uncle Luke, the Norwegian metal maniac.
Yes. So all right, hopefully we did Norway metal scene some justice today. There's so much good stuff there. Make sure you guys all check it out. And until next time, the world ends with you, so make it metal.